The massive spaceship Horizon floated silently in the dark emptiness of space. Its sleek silver body shone in the light of distant stars. Inside, Captain Minjun sat in his big chair on the bridge. He looked at the large screen in front of him, watching the stars slowly move by. Another quiet day, he thought to himself. The Horizon had been exploring deep space for 3 months now. They hadn't found anything very exciting yet. Suddenly, a loud beep filled the room. Everyone on the bridge looked up, surprised. "Captain," called out Ensign Haijin from her station. "We're picking up a signal." Minjun sat up straight in his chair. "What kind of signal?" he asked quickly. Haijin's fingers flew over her control panel. It's a distress call, sir," she said, her eyes wide with excitement. The captain turned to his first officer. "Commander Jaehoon, what do you think?" Jaehoon stroked his chin thoughtfully. "It could be dangerous, sir, but we can't ignore a call for help." Minjun nodded. He had been thinking the same thing. "Ensign Haijin, can you tell where the signal is coming from?" Haijin worked at her station for a moment. "Yes, sir. It's coming from a small moon orbiting that gas giant." She pointed to a large, swirling planet on the main screen. "Helmsman Dadhyun, set a course for that moon," Minjun ordered. "Lieutenant Suyen, I want a full scan of the area when we get closer." The crew sprang into action. The huge engines of the Horizon hummed to life, pushing the ship towards the mysterious signal. As they got closer to the moon, Lieutenant Suyen gasped. "Captain, you need to see this," she called out. Minjun walked over to her station. On her screen was a picture of a strange ship. It was shaped like a leaf and glowed with a soft green light, but parts of it looked damaged and dark. "Is that the source of the distress call?" Minjun asked. Suyen nodded. "Yes, sir, and there's more." She pressed a few buttons, and the image zoomed in. "There are life signs on board, but they're very weak." Minjun's heart started to race. This was it, their first contact with alien life. But those aliens were in trouble. He had to make a decision fast. He turned to face his crew. "Listen up, everyone. We have a rescue mission on our hands. Commander Jaehoon, prepare an away team. We need our best people on this." Jaehoon nodded and started calling out names. "Security Chief Taehyun, you'll lead the team. Take Engineer Sung Min and Medical Officer Ji Soo with you." As the chosen crew members hurried to get ready, Minjun felt a mix of excitement and worry. What would they find on that alien ship? Would they be able to help? And how would the aliens react to seeing humans for the first time? The Horizon moved closer to the damaged alien ship. It looked even stranger up close. Its green surface seemed to shimmer and move, almost like it was alive. In the shuttle bay, Taehyun checked his team's equipment one last time. They all wore special suits that would protect them in space and let them breathe on the alien ship. "Remember," Taehyun said to his team, "we don't know what we'll find in there. Stay alert and stick together." The away team boarded their small shuttle. With a quiet whoosh, the bay doors opened, revealing the vast blackness of space. The shuttle lifted off and flew towards the alien ship. As they got closer, they could see the damage better. Large parts of the ship's hull were torn open, revealing dark spaces inside. "Look there," said Engineer Sung Min, pointing to a spot near the middle of the ship. "That looks like an airlock. We might be able to enter there." Taehyun nodded and steered the shuttle towards the spot Sung Min had pointed out. With careful movements, he docked the shuttle to the alien ship. For a moment, everyone was quiet. They were about to step onto an alien spacecraft for the first time in human history. Taehyun took a deep breath. "Okay, team. Let's go meet our new neighbors." The airlock door opened with a hiss. Taehyun led the way, his flashlight cutting through the darkness inside the alien ship. The others followed close behind, their eyes wide as they looked around. The inside of the ship was unlike anything they had ever seen. The walls seemed to pulse with a faint green light. Strange symbols covered every surface. Suddenly, Medical Officer Jisu's device started beeping rapidly. "I've got a reading on those life signs," she said excitedly. "They're coming from just ahead." The team moved forward carefully. As they turned a corner, they saw something that made them all stop in their tracks. There, in what looked like the ship's control room, were two alien creatures. One was large, probably an adult, lying very still on the floor. The other was much smaller, maybe a baby, curled up next to the larger one. The aliens looked a bit like huge caterpillars, with long, segmented bodies and multiple pairs of delicate legs. Their skin shimmered with swirling patterns of blue and green. Jisoo rushed forward, her medical scanner out. "The big one. I think it's dead," she said sadly. "But the little one is alive. It's very weak, though." Taehyun tapped his communicator. "Captain, we found them. Two aliens. One adult, not alive, and a baby, alive but in bad shape. What are your orders, sir?" Back on the horizon, Captain Minjun closed his eyes for a moment. The choice he made now would change everything. After a deep breath, he opened his eyes, his decision made. "Bring the baby on board," he said firmly. "We're going to save its life." The away team looked at each other with wide eyes. They had just received orders to bring an alien baby onto their ship. This was big, really big. "Okay, let's do this," said Taehyun, the team leader. He turned to Jisoo, the doctor. "How do we move it safely?" Jisoo frowned, thinking hard. "We need to be very careful. Its body is so different from ours. Sungmin, can you make a stretcher?" Sungmin, the engineer, nodded. He opened his pack and pulled out some tools. In a few minutes, he had made a small, flat bed from some spare parts. Jisoo gently picked up the baby alien. It was about the size of a human child, but it felt light, almost like it was filled with air. Its skin felt cool and smooth, like touching a flower petal. As Jisoo put the alien on the stretcher, it made a soft, high-pitched sound. It sounded sad and scared. "Sheh. It's okay," Jisoo said softly. She knew the alien couldn't understand her words, but she hoped it could hear the kindness in her voice. "We're here to help you." Taehyun looked at the dead adult alien. "What about the parent?" he asked. Everyone was quiet for a moment. They all felt sad, thinking about the baby losing its family. "We should bring the body too," said Sungmin. "It's the right thing to do." Taehyun nodded. "Agreed. Let's get them both to the shuttle." Moving carefully, they carried the baby alien and its parent back to their small ship. The trip back to the horizon seemed to take forever. Everyone was nervous and excited about bringing aliens onto their ship for the first time. As the shuttle docked with the horizon, Captain Minjun's voice came over the radio. "How's our guest doing?" he asked. "Alive, but weak," Jisoo answered. "We need to get it to sickbay right away." When the shuttle doors opened, a crowd had gathered. Everyone wanted to see the aliens, but Captain Minjun was there to keep order. "Back up, everyone," he said firmly. "Give them space." The crew watched in amazement as the away team carried out the stretcher with the baby alien. Its skin shimmered in the bright lights of the ship. Some people gasped. Others whispered excitedly to each other. "Dr. Jisoo," said the captain, "take our guest to sickbay. Do whatever you need to keep it alive." Jisoo nodded and hurried off, carefully pushing the stretcher with the alien. Minjun turned to the others. "Taehyun, Sungmin, I want a full report. What did you see over there?" As they walked to the meeting room, Taehyun and Sungmin told the captain everything. They described the strange ship, the sad scene they found, and the difficult decision to bring the aliens aboard. In the meeting room, other senior officers had gathered. Everyone listened closely to the away team's story. "So," said Commander Jaehoon when they finished, "what do we do now?" The room was quiet. This was a big question. They had an alien baby on board. Its parent was dead. They were far from Earth, in unknown space. Every choice they made now could change history. Captain Minjun stood up. He looked at each person in the room. "I know this is a tough situation," he said, "but we made a choice to help. Now we need to see it through." He turned to the ship's scientist, Su-Yen. "I want you to study everything we brought back from the alien ship. Learn all you can about these beings." Su-Yen nodded eagerly. "Yes, sir. I'll get started right away." Sung-min. The captain continued. "Work with Su-Yen. See if you can figure out how their technology works. Maybe we can fix their ship." "Aye, Captain," said Sung-min. Min-jun looked at Ta-hyun next. "I need you to set up security around sickbay. We don't think the alien is dangerous, but we need to be careful." Ta-hyun nodded seriously. "I understand, sir. I'll take care of it." Just then, the door opened. Dr. Jisoo walked in, looking tired but excited. "How's our guest?" Min-jun asked. Jisoo took a deep breath. "It's stable for now," she said. "But Captain, there's something you need to see." She held up a small screen. On it was an image of the alien baby, but this image showed inside its body. "Look here," Jisoo said, pointing to a spot near the alien's middle. "It has an organ we've never seen before. And well, it's amazing." Everyone leaned in to look. In the center of the alien's body was a small glowing ball. It pulsed with a soft light, almost like a tiny star. "What is it?" someone asked in a whisper. Jisoo shook her head. "I don't know. But I think it might be dying. And if it does, the alien will die too." The room was silent again. They had come so far, done so much. They couldn't let this small, strange life fade away now. Captain Min-jun straightened up. His face was serious, but his eyes were bright. "Then we'll just have to figure out how to save it," he said. "Let's get to work." The meeting room on the horizon was quiet. Everyone was thinking about what Dr. Jisoo had just told them. The alien baby had a strange, glowing organ in its body, and that organ was dying. Captain Min-jun looked at his crew. They all seemed worried. He knew he had to make a decision, but it wasn't easy. "Okay," he said, breaking the silence. "Let's talk about our options. What can we do to help this alien?" Su-Yeon, the scientist, spoke first. "We need to study that glowing organ," she said. "If we can figure out how it works, maybe we can fix it." Jisoo nodded. "I agree, but we don't have much time. The alien is getting weaker every hour." Suddenly, Engineer Sung-min stood up. He looked upset. "Wait a minute," he said. "Are we sure we should be doing this?" Everyone turned to look at him, surprised. "What do you mean?" asked Captain Min-jun. Sung-min took a deep breath. "I mean, we're interfering with an alien species," he said. "We don't know anything about them. What if we make things worse? What if we're breaking some kind of space law we don't know about?" The room was quiet again. Sung-min had said what some of them were thinking, but were afraid to say. Ta-hyun, the security chief, nodded slowly. "He has a point," he said. "We're in unknown territory here. This could be dangerous." Captain Min-jun looked at each person in the room. He could see they were divided. Some looked eager to help the alien. Others looked worried and unsure. "I understand your concerns," he said. "This is a big decision. It could change everything. But let me ask you this. If that was a human baby in there, would we be having this discussion?" The crew looked at each other. They knew the answer. "We're explorers," Min-jun continued. "We came out here to learn, to discover new things. But we're also humans, and humans help those in need. That's who we are." He stood up and walked to the window. Outside, stars twinkled in the darkness of space. "Yes, this is an alien," he said. "Yes, it's different from us. But it's a living being. It's alone and scared and needs our help. I say we give it that help." The crew was quiet, thinking about the captain's words. Finally, Commander Jae-hoon spoke up. "I agree with the captain," he said. "We can't turn our backs on a life in need, no matter where it comes from." Slowly, others began to nod. Even Sungmin, who had been against the idea, seemed to be changing his mind. "Okay," said Captain Minjun, "then it's decided. We're going to do everything we can to save this alien. But we'll be careful. We'll study everything before we act." Agreed? Everyone nodded. They had made their choice. "Good," said the captain. "Now, let's get to work. Su Yan, I want you and your team to study that alien ship. See if you can find any information about their biology or medicine." Su Yan nodded eagerly. "Yes, sir. We'll start right away." Ji-Su, Min-jun continued, "Keep monitoring our guest. Let us know if anything changes." "Of course, Captain," said Ji-Su. "Sung-min, I have a special job for you," said Min-jun. "I know you had doubts, but I need your skills. Can you design some kind of life support system for the alien? Something to keep it stable while we work?" Sung-min straightened up. He looked determined now. "I'll do my best, Captain," he said. "Good," said Min-jun. "Ta-hyun, maintain security. But remember, our guest is not a threat. It's a patient." Ta-hyun nodded. "Understood, sir." As the meeting ended and everyone left to do their tasks, Captain Min-jun stayed behind. He looked out at the stars again. He thought about Earth, so far away. He thought about the little alien, fighting for its life in their sickbay. And he thought about his crew, working together to save a life they didn't even understand. Min-jun smiled to himself. This was why he had become a captain. This was why humans had come to space. To explore, yes, but also to connect, to help, to show the best of what humanity could be. He turned and left the room, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. They had made their choice. Now they had to make it work. The fate of a small, strange life was in their hands, and Captain Min-jun was determined not to let it down. The horizon was buzzing with activity. Everyone had a job to do, and they all knew how important it was. In the sickbay, Dr. Ji-Su watched over the alien baby. She hadn't slept in hours, but she didn't care. She was too worried about her strange patient. The alien lay on a special bed that engineer Sungmin had made. It looked like a shallow pool filled with a clear, jelly-like substance. Sungmin said it would help keep the alien's skin moist and comfortable. Ji-Su checked the monitors again. The alien's life signs were getting weaker. The glowing organ in its middle was pulsing slower and slower. She frowned and tapped her communicator. "Captain," she said, "the alien's condition is getting worse. We're running out of time." In the ship's lab, Captain Min-jun was working with Su Yan, the scientist. They had been studying the information from the alien ship for hours. When they heard Ji-Su's message, they looked at each other with worry. "We need to work faster," said Min-jun. He turned to Su Yan. "Have you found anything that could help?" Su Yan shook her head. "Not yet, Captain. Their language is so different. It's taking time to translate." Just then, Sung-min burst into the lab. He was out of breath, and his eyes were wide with excitement. "Captain," he said, "I think I figured something out." Min-jun and Su Yan turned to him eagerly. "What is it?" asked the captain. Sung-min held up a small device. It looked like a glowing cube. "I found this on their ship," he said. "I think it's some kind of power source. And look at this." He pressed a button on the cube. It started to pulse with a soft light, just like the organ inside the alien baby. Su Yan gasped. "It's the same frequency," she said. "The alien's organ. It must be some kind of energy processor." Min-jun's eyes lit up. "So if the organ is failing, we might be able to recharge it with this." Sung-min finished. The captain tapped his communicator. "Ji-Su, we're coming to sickbay. We might have a solution." When they got to sickbay, Ji-Su listened to their idea. She looked hopeful, but worried. "It could work," she said, "but it's risky. We don't know how the alien's body will react." Min-jun nodded. "I know, but we have to try. It's our best chance." They all looked at the alien baby. It was barely moving now. Its skin, once shimmering with bright colors, now looked dull and gray. "Okay," said Jisoo. "Let's do it." Carefully, Sungmin placed the glowing cube next to the alien. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the cube's light seemed to flow into the alien's body. The room was silent. Everyone held their breath, watching and waiting. Suddenly, the alien made a small sound. Its body twitched. Then, to everyone's amazement, the organ in its middle started to glow brighter. "It's working," Jisoo said excitedly. "Its life signs are getting stronger." The crew watched in wonder as color began to return to the alien's skin. It started to move more, its many legs wiggling gently. But then, something went wrong. The alien's body suddenly stiffened. The monitors started beeping loudly. "What's happening?" Minjun asked, alarmed. Jisoo was moving quickly, checking readings. "It's too much energy," she said. "The alien can't process it fast enough. We need to slow it down." Sungmin reached for the cube, but Jisoo stopped him. "No," she said. "If we stop now, the shock could kill it. We need to regulate the flow somehow." For a moment, everyone was frozen, unsure what to do. Then Soo-yeon spoke up. "The ship," she said. "The alien ship had systems to regulate energy flow. Maybe we can adapt one to work here." Minjun nodded quickly. "Do it," he said. "Sungmin, go with her. Jisoo, do what you can to keep our guest stable." As Soo-yeon and Sungmin raced out of sickbay, Minjun stayed with Jisoo. They watched the alien, hoping it could hold on just a little longer. "Come on, little one," Minjun said softly. "Don't give up now. We're trying to help you." The minutes ticked by slowly. The alien's condition kept swinging between better and worse. Jisoo worked nonstop, adjusting treatments, trying to keep the baby alien alive. Just when it seemed like they might lose the battle, Soo-yeon and Sungmin burst back into sickbay. They were carrying a strange-looking device. "We've got it," Sungmin said. "Let's hope this works." As they rushed to set up the device, Minjun watched and hoped. They had come so far. They had to succeed. The life of this small, strange being depended on them. And deep down, Minjun knew something else was at stake too. This moment could be the beginning of a new chapter for humanity. A chapter where humans proved they could reach out across the stars and make a difference. All they had to do was save one small life. The sickbay of the horizon was tense. Everyone watched as Sungmin and Soo-yeon set up the strange device they had brought from the alien ship. It looked like a mix of crystal and metal, with soft lights pulsing along its surface. "Okay," said Sungmin, wiping sweat from his forehead. "I think it's ready." Dr. Jisoo nodded. "We have to try it now," she said. "The alien's vitals are dropping fast." Captain Minjun looked at each member of his team. They all looked tired but determined. "Do it," he said. Sungmin took a deep breath and pressed a button on the device. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the device began to hum. The lights on its surface started to pulse in sync with the glowing organ inside the alien baby. Everyone held their breath, watching the monitors. At first, there was no change. The alien's life signs kept getting weaker. "It's not working," Taehyun said, his voice filled with disappointment. But Jisoo held up her hand. "Wait," she said. "Look." On the screen, a small line began to climb, then another, and another. "The alien's vitals are improving," Jisoo said excitedly. "Its body is starting to process the energy correctly." The room filled with sighs of relief and happy smiles. The alien baby started to move more, its many legs wiggling gently. Its skin began to shimmer again with beautiful colors. "We did it," Minjun said softly. "We actually did it." But their celebration was short-lived. Suddenly, the alien made a strange, high-pitched sound. Its body twisted in a way that didn't look natural. "What's happening?" Min Jun asked, alarmed. Jisoo was already checking the monitors. "Its brain activity is spiking," she said. I think it's in pain." The happy mood in the room vanished. They had saved the alien's life, but now it was suffering. "Can't we give it something for the pain?" Taehyun asked. Jisoo shook her head. "We don't know enough about its biology. Any medicine we give could make things worse." Soo Yeon had been quiet, thinking hard. Suddenly, her eyes lit up. "The database from the alien ship," she said. "We haven't finished translating it all. Maybe there's something in there that can help." Min Jun nodded quickly. "Go," he said. "Take anyone you need. Find something to help our guest." As Soo Yeon rushed out, the others stayed with the alien. Jisoo did her best to keep it comfortable. Some men adjusted the energy device, trying to find the right balance. Taehyun stood guard, making sure no one disturbed their work. Hours passed. The alien's condition stayed the same, alive, but in pain. The crew of the Horizon took turns watching over it. They talked to it softly, hoping their voices might provide some comfort. Just when they were starting to lose hope, Soo Yeon burst back into sickbay. She was out of breath, and her eyes were wide with excitement. "I found something," she said. She held up a small datapad. "It took a while to translate, but I think this is some kind of medical guide." Jisoo took the pad and read quickly. Her face changed from doubt to hope. This could work," she said. "It describes a procedure for helping young aliens adjust to energy intake." Min Jun looked at his team. They were all tired, having worked for hours without rest. But he saw determination in their eyes. "What do you need?" he asked Jisoo. "Time," she said, "and everyone's help. This won't be easy." Min Jun nodded. "You've got it. Let's save this little one." What followed was the hardest work any of them had ever done. Jisoo led the procedure, following the alien instructions as best she could. Some men adjusted the energy device, second by second. Soo Yeon kept translating more of the database, providing crucial information. Even Taehyun and Min Jun helped, holding tools and monitoring screens. They worked as one, each person playing a vital role. Finally, after what seemed like forever, Jisoo stepped back. She looked tired but happy. I think we did it," she said. Everyone turned to look at the alien baby. Its body had relaxed. The painful noises had stopped, and its skin was shimmering with the most beautiful patterns they had ever seen. Slowly, the alien opened its eyes. They were large and bright, filled with swirling colors. It looked at each human in turn. Then, to everyone's amazement, it made a soft, musical sound. It didn't sound like pain. It sounded like gratitude. Min Jun felt tears in his eyes. He looked at his crew and saw they felt the same way. They had done it. Against all odds, they had saved this strange, beautiful life. As the alien baby drifted off to sleep, looking peaceful for the first time since they found it, Min Jun knew they had just been part of something incredible, something that would change the way humans saw the universe forever. Days passed on the horizon. The alien baby was getting stronger every day. The crew took turns watching over it, making sure it was safe and comfortable. Dr. Jisoo spent most of her time in sickbay. She watched the alien closely, learning more about it every day. "It's amazing," she told Captain Min Jun one morning. "Its body can change color based on how it feels. When it's happy, it turns bright blue. When it's hungry, it becomes orange." Min Jun smiled. "That must make your job easier," he said. Jisoo nodded. "Yes, but we still have so much to learn. We don't even know what it eats." That was a big problem. The alien was getting stronger, which meant it was getting hungrier. But they didn't know what kind of food it needed. Soo Yeon was working hard to solve this problem. She spent hours studying the alien database they had found. Finally, she made a discovery. "Captain," she called excitedly over the communicator. "I think I've figured it out. Their species doesn't eat solid food. They absorb energy directly, like plants absorb sunlight." This was big news. Some men got to work right away, creating a special room for the alien. He filled it with different kinds of energy: light, heat, even small amounts of radiation. When they put the alien in this room, it got very excited. Its skin turned the brightest blue they had ever seen. It moved around quickly, touching everything with its many legs. "Look," said Jisoo, "the glowing organ in its middle. It's pulsing faster. I think it's eating." The crew watched in wonder as the alien absorbed the energy. It grew a little bigger right before their eyes. As the days went by, the alien got stronger and more active. It started to explore the sickbay, touching everything with its legs. It seemed very curious about the humans. One day, while Minjun was visiting, the alien did something new. It made a series of soft, musical sounds. Then it changed the color of its skin rapidly, creating beautiful patterns. Minjun was surprised. He looked at Jisoo. "What's it doing?" he asked. Jisoo's eyes were wide. I think it's trying to talk to us." This was exciting news. Minjun called Su-yeon to sickbay right away. "Can we communicate with it?" he asked. Su-yeon thought for a moment. "Maybe," she said. "Its species seems to use colors and sounds to communicate. We could try to make a basic translation program." For the next few days, Su-yeon worked hard on the program. She studied the alien's color changes and sounds, trying to find patterns. The alien seemed to understand what she was doing. It repeated its color changes and sounds many times, as if it was trying to help. Finally, Su-yeon was ready to try her program. She set up a small screen near the alien. When the alien made sounds or changed colors, the screen would show words in human language. At first, the translations didn't make much sense, but as Su-yeon adjusted the program, things got better. Soon, they were able to understand simple ideas from the alien. They learned that the alien was very young, just a baby in its species. Its name was something like Bright Song in human words. It was scared at first, but now it felt safe with the humans. The biggest surprise came when they asked about its home. Bright Song's colors turned sad, a deep purple. The translation on the screen said something shocking. "Home gone. Big darkness came. Only I escape." The crew looked at each other with wide eyes. They realized that Bright Song might be the last of its kind. Its whole planet might be gone. Minjun felt a lump in his throat. He looked at the small alien, now curled up in its energy bed. It looked so alone. But then Minjun remembered something. He remembered how his crew had worked so hard to save this one small life. He remembered the joy they felt when Bright Song got better. Minjun made a decision. He knelt down next to Bright Song and spoke softly. "Don't worry," he said. "You're not alone anymore. We'll take care of you. We'll be your new family." Bright Song might not have understood the words, but it seemed to understand the feeling behind them. Its skin turned the brightest, happiest blue they had ever seen. As Minjun looked around at his crew, he saw smiles on every face. They all felt the same way. They had started this journey to explore strange new worlds. Now they had found something even better, a new friend from across the stars. Weeks had passed since the crew of the Horizon rescued Bright Song, the alien baby. The ship was now on its way to Earth. Captain Minjun had decided it was time to introduce their new friend to the rest of humanity. As they got closer to Earth, everyone on the ship felt excited and nervous. How would people react to Bright Song? Would they understand how special this alien was? Bright Song seemed to feel the crew's excitement. Its skin shimmered with quick flashes of yellow and green. The translation screen showed words like happy and curious and new friends. Finally, the day came when they entered Earth's solar system. Min Jun called everyone to the bridge. Bright Song came too, riding on a special floating platform some men had made for it. "Look," said Min Jun, pointing to a small blue dot on the big screen. "That's Earth. That's our home." Bright Song's skin turned a deep blue. The screen translated, "Beautiful, like my old home." As they got closer to Earth, they started getting messages from space stations and other ships. Everyone wanted to know about the alien they had heard rumors about. Min Jun decided to send out a video message to all of Earth. He explained how they found Bright Song, how they saved its life, and how they learned to communicate with it. At the end of the message, he said, "We come to you not just as explorers returning home, but as ambassadors of a new species. We ask you to welcome Bright Song with open minds and kind hearts." As the horizon entered Earth's orbit, they saw hundreds of ships coming to meet them. But these ships didn't look angry or scared. They were flashing lights in bright, happy colors. "They're welcoming us," said Su-Yun, laughing with joy. When they landed at the main spaceport, a big crowd was waiting. There were regular people, scientists, and even world leaders. Everyone wanted to see Bright Song. As the crew of the Horizon walked out, with Bright Song floating in the middle, the crowd got very quiet. Then Bright Song did something amazing. It raised its front legs and made its skin flash in all the colors of the rainbow. A beautiful, gentle sound filled the air. Everyone could feel that this was Bright Song's way of saying hello and thank you. For a moment, no one moved. Then, slowly, people started to smile. Some even had tears in their eyes. They could see that Bright Song wasn't just a strange creature from space. It was a thinking, feeling being, just like them. One of the world leaders stepped forward. She looked at Min Jun and his crew, then at Bright Song. "On behalf of the people of Earth," she said, "I want to thank you for this incredible gift. You've shown us the true spirit of humanity, kindness, bravery, and friendship that reaches across the stars." She turned to Bright Song and bowed slightly. "And to you, our new friend, I say, welcome to Earth. We have much to learn from each other." Bright Song's skin turned the happiest blue the crew had ever seen. The translation screen showed just one word: home. In the days that followed, Bright Song became famous all over Earth. Scientists came to study it, always being gentle and kind. Children sent drawings of Bright Song, which it loved to look at. The crew of the Horizon were called heroes, but for them, the real reward was seeing Bright Song happy and safe. One evening, as they watched Bright Song play with some Earth children, Captain Min Jun turned to his crew. "You know what," he said, "when we started this journey, I thought we'd find new worlds, new science. I never imagined we'd find a new friend." Jisoo smiled. "Maybe that's the most important discovery of all," she said. As they watched Bright Song change colors to make the children laugh, they all felt proud. They had done more than save one life. They had shown that humanity's greatest strength was its heart. And as Earth prepared to join the wider galaxy, with Bright Song as its first alien citizen, everyone knew that the future would be bright indeed. The stars didn't seem so far away anymore. They were full of new friends, just waiting to be found.